Hello, David Paul here. Um, Little development, but exciting to me and probably not to everybody else. But anyway, this is what happens when you live in the wild in Portugal in a tent and life is chaos. Today, look at that sky. It's overcast, it's cold, which is just great because I can get some work done moving some stuff. This thing here, I've sung its praises in a previous video, is my little stove. And I'm going to cook breakfast. And it's a little stove, and you put little twigs in it and stuff. It's a biomass stove, and that's a great thing if you're out camping temporarily in the forest and you don't want to carry something heavy and so on. And you've got all the time in the world. But it's driving me nuts because it's taking like an hour sometimes to light, and you get it fueled up, you get it going. You get halfway through making a cup of tea and then it runs out of fuel. You got to be vigilant with it all the time. So, yesterday I just said I can't take this anymore. I've had enough. I want to, I can't run a house like this. So, I'm going to have to buy some gear for the house. And so, I decided to hell with it. Put my hand in my pocket and cough the dosh and buy something else. So here we go. Little note, all these tiles, I'll talk about them in a minute. This is another development. Okay, let's see what happens. What do we have here? This was made in Portugal, and it's a very, how can you describe it? Rustic looking thing or whatever. But it's the ideal kind of thing for outdoors. So I thought, if it gets retired at the end of this project, what I'll do is I'll use it in the garden as a sort of outdoor cooking thing. But to be honest, I have an idea for it, which is to put it into a pizza oven. So during the summer, when you're not, the pizza oven in the house, which is going to be up there, the wood oven. In the summer, when you're not wanting to put a lot of heat into the house by turning this thing on, you can use this thing to cook on. So that's good. That's rather nice. And I like it, but what I don't like was the price. It was 61 euros, which is a bit stiff. Nice knob on the front there. 61 euros, purchased in Electra Panela in Penela, Portugal. And they sold me this gas, and the total amount that it came to is 142 euros. And I thought, oh my God. And then I thought, no, I've got to do it, because I just like, life is so crap here, not being able to just make a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or anything like that. Just like that, instead of having to like raise a fire and all that stuff to get it going. And last year was even worse. That thing, believe it or not, up the top there is an improvement on last year's work. Now, I've connected it. I think that I have to turn this on. Maybe. Let's see. I guess so. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what I got to do. Oh dear God, let's see. There was a sort of puff of gas there, so I guess it's enabled. I'll fix that later. Right. Does it have an electric start? I don't know. Okay. Seems that we don't have gas. That's fechar, closed, a beer, open. So. Damn it to hell. Okay, never mind. I'll do a second video when I get it working. try again. See if this works. Nope, nothing. Oh well, something I gotta learn. I'm sure it's gonna work. Anyway, I was outside and a neighbour passed by from the village, and his name's Alberto, and he was telling me that he worked on this house 50 years ago, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. And he told me that he had actually fitted the roof. Well, he probably didn't fit it all himself, but he worked on this roof 50 years ago. And I think he's kind of a bit sad that it's probably going to have to go. So I was really pleased about this, and I decided that, I said, well, since you said that, and I asked him what the roof was made of, and he said chestnut. So that's why it's so strong, and that's why it's not rotten, like eucalyptus probably would have been by now. And so I said, I'm going to keep the roof. So what I'm going to do is initially I will use the tiles outside, put them on the top, and retile with that, and just do nothing to this roof. Just leave it alone. Then later on, I have to ultimately renew the roof. Well, I don't know if I do actually, but I'll think about that. But I am going to have to insulate it. So what I thought would be a good idea would be to put the concrete beam, the ring beam round, which will raise the height of the roof by a few inches. Put that on, but don't remove this roof. Leave it alone. And then put the new roof on top, so you've got your new steel roof above it. Why would you want to do that? Because you will then end up with this old-fashioned wooden roof, which can be cleaned up and made pretty and more wood put in it and stuff, and it'll make a real feature of it. But you need something to support the insulation material that you're going to put in the roof. So what you've gone and done now is you've got this roof, which you can now use to support the insulation material. And since it's only supporting things like foam boards or whatever the hell you want to put up there, insulation material basically weighs virtually nothing, then you don't need all this massive structure. And that's good, because there is one problem, which is these beams which run across. If I was to put a mezzanine floor in here where you'd walk up and down it and use it for like a sort of study area or whatever, that there, or storage, those beams would then get in the way. So you'd have to like crawl under them or whatever. And that's not really very good architecture. We're having things where you have to crawl under stuff. So I will be at liberty, if I wish, to remove those and still keep the roof and still not have any problem of side thrust or anything like that, because they're basically just a bunch of sticks supporting stuff like like foam corkboard, probably, that kind of thing. So there it is. Now, today it's freezing cold, which is just great. I hope it stays like this for a long time. So I'm going to borrow a wheelbarrow of a neighbour, and there's a house which is just full of these tiles, and I'm on my way up to get them. So that's the job for today. Interesting point about these tiles, it says it's made in, where is it? No, they're not. These are somewhere else. These tiles are made in Miranda de Corvo, which is a nearby village. I've seen these tiles in other parts of the village. So I'm just assuming that it might be possible that the factory's still there, or if it's not, there are remnant tiles over there, and I'll be able to top up by either buying or getting some of these free, because when people take them off the roof, they've got nothing to do with them. But to be honest, these, even if you don't use them for a roof, they're good for edging plants and all sorts. You'll always find a job for these guys, and they are going to go on the top. Now, the question is, the $45,000 question is the back of a tile. It seems to me that the tile spacing there, the lat spacing on the roof, matches this. I have to test it yet, but I think, I'll wager, that if I was to get up there, remove a couple of tiles and plop one of these in place, I will bet you that it just fits. So, that being the case, the big deal about building roofs and putting them on and stuff is not putting the slates on. It's the whole construction of a roof, and they take the old roof off to do everything, renew all the wood, or renew, or do it in steel, or this, that and the other, put the ring on. It's a monstrous amount of work. But of course, if you already got the roof, all you have to do, you're just playing Lego. You're just plopping these in place. So please God, let it be the case that the spacing of the lats, I'm told they're called reapers, these lats that run across, it looks to me that one tile will do two of those, and they will just plop on in place. It seems to make sense that they would, because if these tiles are a replacement for these other kind of traditional tiles, then the manufacturers would probably copy the dimensions of the previous tile so that they could be used. So I'm delighted with that. So anyway, I'll do a quickie on the stove if I get it going. Adios, pa'alam, goodbye, Jesus be with you.